Okay, this is the last of 4 videos in this series. If you haven't watched the other ones, I would invite you to watch them in sequence, starting with 1. Before watching this, it'll make a lot more sense to you. So it brings us to the question of why Mark Cuban? What is it about him that I think would be able to pull this presidential run off? First of all, the timing is good for somebody to do this. Right now, more and more people are aware of the corrupting influence of money in our political process and see it as a real problem in getting things done in our political system. And so, why Mark Cuban? He's fairly well known. He's rich. He has a lot of money. If you don't know that much about him, I'd invite you to look him up in Wikipedia. He happens to be the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and HDNet is another one of the things that he owns. Those are just a couple of things. I think he owns interest in a lot of other things. Mark does not have a strong reputation for being partisan one way or the other. He has a simple name to spell, which would be a help for a write-in candidate. He has a reputation for being courageous and taking on things that some people would shy away from. He also has a reputation for honesty and integrity, all things that we'd want. And he's someone who has the fortitude, aka balls, to pull this off. So I really think Mark could do this. One of the questions that comes up is, why am I not doing this myself? Well, I'm not doing it for the same reason you're not doing it, because nobody knows you and I. And when the attacks come, and they will come, anyone could say anything about us and it would be believable. Who's going to refute it? Do you really think our media would report the truth? It's not in their interest to do that. So you and I would be out of luck. Whether or not Mark would be willing to do this or not, I really don't know. I hope that he would. I have a letter addressed to Mark on my website, so if you know Mark, would you please send him to that website, or let him watch these videos and then send him to the website to read my letter that's addressed to him. But it's really his decision, and whether or not he'd do this, I have no idea. I hope that he does. I hope somebody of his caliber will step up and do this for us. There's one other thing I would like for you to think about, and it's just as important as Mark running for this, and that is your willingness to vote for him. For the first time in your life, will you vote for an idea that you believe in, that this country works best when it is by, of, and for all of us? If you do, will you encourage your friends and families to do the same? Will you stand firm in the face of ridicule? Just remember, the first step in winning is the ridicule and facing that. And it will come. Because people, the first thing they'll say, oh, this must be some kind of joke. Well, it's not. One last thing. If you would be willing to vote for Mark, let him know. And I'm not going to try to tell you how to get in touch with him, but just let him know. I don't know how long these YouTubes will be up on this site, so please, you have my permission to download it and post it on your own website. Thank you so much for your attention.